players. You're looking at Steve. He's going to be my opponent here, the first game at Valhalla. We're doing a little bit of a weird narrative campaign. I'll do a separate video explaining the insanity here, but essentially it's a standard game. And you brought Black Inquisition.
I did.
Right. Okay, well, why don't you go over your stuff here for me? What is this guy?
All right, this is a Inquisitorial Chimera inside our 11 henchmen, acolytes with hotshot lasguns, and one of the 2 Inquisitors I'm bringing.
Okay. Over here behind this Aegis,
we've got just a little henchman squad here. They're Sisters of Battle models.
Okay.
Painted up to match the Inquisitorial livery there.
Oh, nice.
They're running as power armor bolt gun acolytes, and they are minding our captive psyker here.
Okay, there we go. Alright, now going over here, we got a couple of tanks. What's in this blue tank?
Nothing's in this blue tank. It belongs to them over there, but they decided I'd rather be outside. I'll let it shoot what it will.
Okay, and this red guy?
This red guy's a Rhino, belongs to the Red Hunters. Space Marine chapter, works with the Inquisition.
Okay.
We've got a tactical squad in there.
That's a Forge World chapter, right?
Forge World chapter.
Alright, and this other red guy?
That is Las Cannon Predator with Stormbolter.
Okay, good stuff. And this guy?
And this is my last henchman squad. They don't have an Inquisitor with them. They are 10 more acolytes, carapace armor, hotshot lasguns. That's a Rhino there.
And we got some sneaky guys here.
They think that the chem tower is going to protect them, but really they're mostly there to hang on to the objective. We got some Red Hunter scouts.
Okay. Alright, then here we go. We're going to pan over to my side of the board. You guys already know who I am, so I'm not going to introduce myself. This bastion is kind of here. It came with the board. It's going to be a dilapidated building, right?
Yep, nothing works, but it's still got walls.
Yep, you can get in it and shoot out of it, but none of its stuff works. Alright, here we go. Oh, got my notes there. Alright. Here we go, we got 30 cultists with the Mark of Khorne.
That's a lot of cultists.
And then there's a bloodletter in there who's going to be my champion. He's not really a bloodletter, just to be clear. And we got Vinny the Vindicator, my cousin Vinny. He's hanging out. He's going to move up the board and try to not get shot. Over here we have a functional bastion. And inside of it, you can't see them right now, but there are some sneaky Terminators who have infiltrated into it. And atop it, we have 3 Nurgle Mark to Blitz. And there is a comms array on this that'll help me get my reserves in, hopefully. You guys know this guy. Prince Thayvian, ruler by right of might and righteous reciprocity. That's right, he's there. He's going to be a Tzeentch prince today. And, yeah. Oh, wait. Over here, hiding behind the bastion, because he has a mark that won't let him join anyone, is Ahriman, wielder of the Black Staff. Alright, now we're going to go over psychic powers. We forgot to do that on the other side. I'll pan back over. Of course, we have force, because psychic guys get force. Right here we have Thayvian's powers. He's gotten hallucination, invisibility, mental fortitude, and psychic shriek. And then we have Ahriman's powers. He got dominate, mental fortitude, invisibility, terrify, and psychic shriek. Now I'm going to walk to the other side of the board because I forgot to do it the first time. What do you got in the way of psychic powers here?
Alright, I didn't roll nearly as well as Ahriman and Thayvian did, but I'm running 4 psychers.
Okay.
My Inquisitors are both telepathy. No, I got telepathy and divinator.
Okay.
I got hallucination and psychic shriek on the telepath.
Okay.
Foreboding and prescience on my diviner.
Okay.
Psyker that's with the henchman has mental fortitude, so hopefully they're not going to be panicking. Also does have psychic shriek. And the Space Marine librarian, who's currently off the board riding in style in a Storm Raven, mental fortitude, not that he's going to need it, but who knows. Invisibility, you got lucky there, and yet again, psychic shriek.
Alright, lots of invisibility in this game. It'd be interesting to see if anyone is actually seen.
Yeah, one of the questions I've always had in like superhero movies is, can invisible people see other invisible people? We're going to answer that question today.
We're going to try to figure out the answer. Alright, we're going to do turn recap today, guys, because I'm kind of limited on battery. So we will see you at the end of the first player's first turn. I already tried to seize and failed. So my opponent will be going first, and we'll see you at the end of his turn. Okay, Warpwide Wargamers, we're at the bottom of player turn 1. We got some drop pod action with the drop pod assault rolls. He gets to bring in a certain number rounding up. He only has 1, so the answer is 1.
Half round up is 1, yep.
He started over here, he scattered back a bit, he nudged this hill and went over here. So that's where he ended up. And then his little buddy that was riding inside hopped out and he shot some stuff. Killed some of my cultists.
Didn't really make a visible dent though. That is still a lot of cultists down there.
Still a big wall of flesh. Don't be confused. These guys aren't occupying. That's my dead pile from the first turn. So he killed, looks like 5 guys, including my champ. Okay, this guy moved up and he was a little worried about some stuff, so he popped smoke.
Yep.
These guys are just still hanging out.
Holding out, stay put.
I think this is one of the people that shot at my demon prince, isn't it?
No, he shot over at the Vindicator.
Okay, yeah, he took a shot at the Vindicator.
But did nothing. Shoot a glance and I get a 1.
So here we go. This guy also, he did some shooting. He shot at Prince Thayvian over there. A lot of guys shot at Thayvian. I'm pretty sure all these tanks shot at him.
Everyone inside shot at him.
And as you guys will be used to by now, I did my usual amazing rolling and got 2 1s and a 2. So Thayvian is sadly sitting at 1 wound. Very sad. The scouts took a pot shot with a crack missile at the Vindicator and did not hit. And so yeah. No psychic powers this turn?
Nothing of note. Got some paranoia powers on the Chimera, but that's it.
Okay. And so yeah, that's pretty much what happened in the first turn. We'll see you at the end of my first turn. Okay, Warpwide Wargamers, we're at the end of my first turn. The cultists rolled for difficult and got a 2, and then they ran. So that's where they ended up. The Vindicator was going to fire in that direction, but when my Terminators popped out, they violated the don't shoot your own guys rule. So instead, he went all out and moved to there. Here we go, Bastion. The Obliterators tried to do their plasma cannons. One of them got hot and made a save. One guy actually hit 3 guys. The other guy scattered off. So we were able to kill a couple of guys. I don't remember why. Oh yes, here we go. The Terminators hopped out of the escape hatch and unloaded their combi meltas into the tank that was there. Yes, blew it up. Then the guys popped out and I hit them with the plasma cannons. It was just enough to make them do their cheesy Marine version of I'm fearless but I'm not, only enough to get away so that I don't die. So they're over there, out of range of my assault. Thayvian and his 1 remaining wound is right here. He was invisible. A template weapon hit him and killed him. Leave a comment below. We're pretty sure we did it right, but still a matter of some debate in the meta. So if I'm wrong, leave a comment and I'll be sure to commit ritual Japanese suicide at a later date. Yep, pretty uneventful turn for me. Blew up a tank, got first blood, so there's that. And yeah, so we'll see what happens at the end of player 2, turn 2. Player 1, turn 2. Okay, Warpwide Wargamers, it's time to take a look at what happened. The Venerable Dreadnought took some pot shots at my cultists, killed several. The Storm Raven came in from reserve, and he did a couple of different interesting things. He shot some more cultists. That's the going thing these days. He also used his nifty little multi-melta, which you can see right there on the tip of his nose.
There he goes.
And he shot into my Vindicator, immobilizing him and taking away a hull point. These lovely models, which can I pick up your Celestine model for a second? Let me pick this guy up. This is a very pretty model. You guys to see this. He has modded a Celestine model to be an Inquisitor.
Yep, I'm actually just painted her to be an Inquisitor. That is a stock Celestine model. I just said instead of the normal sisters, red, black, and white, I have a thing for blue and purple, and so a lot of my Inquisitorial troops are going to be either in kind of a slate blue and purple with some gold highlights, or the other ones are going to be dark red She's actually, I have a pair of sister Inquisitors.
Oh, okay, yes, here we go.
The other sister here.
Okay.
It's a High-Tech Minis Black Widow Commander, running it as a Malleus Inquisitor in Terminator armor.
She's lovely.
And that is where the red in my Inquisitorial forces comes from.
She's got the braided ponytail thing. That's kind of neat.
I haven't decided whether or not they're from Fenris, because they kind of got the whole Fenrisian braid thing going on there.
Okay, right. Oh, we lost the focus.
No, not the focus. But there you have it. Those are the twin sister Inquisitors there.
All right, I'm going to gently set her back down in the center here. Back to the whole telling you what they did. They came out of this thingy. We've determined that to get on top of this is to 3 inches up, so they came up 3 inches and 3 inches in.
And they ran.
A
little tactical bunny hop of another 2 inches.
Yep, so they're controlling this objective in the middle, which won't matter for us, except at the end of the game it affects things later in the campaign. We'll talk about that in another video, because I don't feel like doing it right now. These guys are doing a lot more of the same.
Yeah, they're very boring. Pretty, but boring.
They're hanging out, they're holding that objective, they're loving life. Now this is becoming familiar. We got this big blob of tanks. They've taken some shots. One of them shot over there at the obliterators and did a wound. And then the other ones were shooting into these Terminators.
There are a lot fewer Terminators.
A lot fewer Terminators. These other guys that are around, the remaining Terminator champion, charged in, killed a couple more Terminators, and were locked there. And scouts didn't do anything this turn.
No, they're still saying they've got camouflage. Let's not blow it.
All right. So after my initial vainglorious effort to get first blood, this is my dead pile. Lots of cultists and most of my Terminators. So that's fun. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to start my second turn, and we'll see you at the end of that turn. Okay, Warp-Wide Wargamers, these cultists decided that there was more to them than merely flesh. They rallied, they moved through difficult, and they ran. And so that is their current position. They're still kind of holding on to that objective. This guy. Alright, so here's Vinny.
He gets that a lot.
Here's Vinny, he's still stuck there. He fired downrange at that Rhino?
Rhino.
And took off a hull point. So that was fun.
Well, they stuck the Rhino too. Rhino's immobilized.
Oh yes, that's right. I pinned the Rhino in place, so that's fun. Okay, so as is always the case when we talk about invisibility, there are some debates as to whether or not this is kosher. But as we've been playing it at our meta and all of the GTs we've been going to, fortifications count as units. So Ahriman has created the Invisible House, which you are familiar with from our other battle reports, so that's a lot of fun. These obliterators that appear to be laying down taking Nurgle naps are just indicating the fact that they are inside of the bastion and not atop it. So I'm going to replace that. Armin scooted around here to the side because he is very afraid of this red sucker. It's going to swoop over here and like pop him in one hit probably. So he shuffled around this building a little bit. As you can see over there through the crack, barely, maybe, no, my camera's not going to catch it. There's a guy over there with kind of a shot, and so he's sort of exposed, but better that than that. Sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of another, really. All right, here we go. Terminator. He killed a couple of guys. He's playing whack-a-mole in that tar pit, and they fell back. So he consolidated 2 inches back, just enough to leave him exposed to all of the other things that can shoot at him. So they are not long for this world. If this Terminator survives this combat, I may have to promote him to a bringer, because he's very sexy. Alright, so these guys were Infiltrata. They popped over here and they unloaded a bunch of shots into the scouts.
The building was not camouflage. I keep telling them.
And so I killed a couple of guys, but they made their morale and they're hanging out. And that's essentially all that happened in that turn. Am I forgetting anything?
No.
Anything else happened? Alright, so that completes player 2, turn 2. We'll see you guys at the end of player 1, turn 3. Okay, Warp-Wide Wargamers. this venerable dreadnought in all of his awesomeness, he trundled forward and took some shots at what used to be my cultists. You can see there's a significant lack of cultists. He gets by with a little help from his friends. We got the 2 HQs who we've affectionately dubbed the Lovers.
It's 2 psychers hanging out together, doing psycher things.
Doing stuff, loving life. Their buddies up here also assisted. They dumped some shots into the cultists and finished them off. As we proceed to the back, those guys that have been sitting there since the beginning continue to sit there.
They're very boring. Just a couple of cigarettes, you know.
This blue tank took a shot at my Vindicator. He actually hit but did no damage. The red Predator back there on a whim decided to take a shot or 3 at the invisible Bastion and hit but was not able to penetrate the 14 armor. Moving along. These red Space Marines right here, they killed off the last of my Terminators. The guys behind them are still fleeing. And I don't know if you can see it, but these scouts right here took some shots at my cultists and killed like 3, I think.
Something like that.
And then this big red guy here, he blew up the universe's baddest psyker. He just unloaded his whole weapon salvo into him and just killed the mess out of him.
Even Ariman has a severe lead allergy.
Yes, he does, and he is now dead. Alright, so as awesome as my invisible house was, that's getting ready to go away as we get ready to begin my turn 3. And that's the state of affairs. It's not looking too good for the Chaos Space Marines, guys, and my voice is starting to really crap out on me, so I apologize. We will see you at the end of my 3rd turn. Alright, welcome back, Warpwide Wargamers. This bastion that you see overflowing with models onto the ground. This is my dead pile. It's an amalgamation of Terminators, cultists, and my warlord, the man in white. Alright, so he's dead. My opponent got Slay the Warlord. Moving over to this direction. My cousin Vinny took a shot over here at the Rhino, took out its last gun, so it's now just a piece of terrain that sits there and hangs out. So that was fun. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled about this in the comments, but I have not once fired the Bastion version of Forces of the Machine Spirit or whatever that lets them fire their heavy bolters and hit on 5s. Because I am a noob. But anyway, it wouldn't have mattered much because I don't think there's anything in range. That guy's still there from last turn. The Obliterators, in what the alcoholics occasionally refer to as a moment of clarity, decided it would be a great idea to hop out of the escape hatch and lay down some flamer template awesomeness on the Space Marines and henchmen that were there, and wiped out those 2 squads. Oh, I forgot to mention, as much as I love my cousin Vinny, when he shot over here at the Rhino, he scattered and he zorched one of my totally unwounded Obliterators. Very sad. Now for the highlight. These cultists, of which there are many, decided to charge into the scouts that were holding that objective. We got 112 attacks on the charge. I rolled 56 of them and wiped the squad. Then they attacked back at the same initiative and killed 1 cultist. So now these cultists, for the moment, have that objective. Yay! And there was much rejoicing. So that's it for my turn 3. We'll see what my opponent does in response in his turn 4. Okay, Warpwide Wargamers, here we go. The Dreadnought moved up. That's pretty much all he did. This guy broke off from his girlfriend and decided to secure this objective. His lady came over here and unleashed volumes of evilness into the back of my cousin Vinny and destroyed him. He's wrecked, and so he's like just line of sight blocking terrain. These guys did some psychic boost stuff and secured that objective. Here's this tank. He put some flame action down on my obliterators, and then, you know, I've got a short-term memory, so there was a amalgam of these tanks converging on my obliterators, and the result is I have one obliterator left with 1 wound.
People are gonna spend,
and then we have this predator who tried to do something and then didn't.
Yeah, no successful wounds, all saved.
The Storm Talon shot its whole wad into my obliterators, and I was able to survive with 1 wound remaining. And that's pretty much it, right?
That was the turn.
Alright, so as we said so often before, as the game gets longer, the turns get shorter. We will see you at the end of my turn 4. Okay, Warp-Wide Wargamers. This is going to be short. These cultists kind of shuffled around in their movement and running and tried to make multiple layers of bodies around this objective in a vain hope of defending that objective to the end of the game. This obliterator went from here into this escape hatch, into the bastion. That's why he's laying down. He's in it, not on it. He fired his twin-linked melt-a-gun into that and totally missed because he's on the fail boat. We briefly considered hitting the zooming flyer, but you guys know how it is with me and my dice karma, so we decided to err on the side of caution, and still nothing. Alright, so the obliterator is in here, not on here, inside the bastion. I'm going to have to discuss this with my opponent, but my feeling is that when there are units occupying the bastion, as long as they are within 3 inches of the objective, they can score from the bastion. We'll discuss that in a minute, whether that's okay, and I'll update you in the next turn. This objective is held by my opponent. This lady is still here. She's hanging out. Dreadnought guy is hanging out. These guys have the campaign objective, which will be of use to him in future games in this narrative campaign. And that's pretty much all the important information from this turn. Once again, just in review, here is most of my army in the dead pile. A couple of dead obliterators, Ahriman, the man in white, and a bunch of other guys. So we will see you at the end of player 1, turn 5. Okay, Warp-Wide Wargamers, here we are. We're at the end of player 1, turn 5. I'm going to do this kind of out of order because reasons. This guy dropped down into hover mode and spun around and obliterated my bastion. It had an obliterator in it. He did not do well. It's the dangest thing when, you know, you're inside a building that completely collapses. So he's dead, and he's destroyed my bastion, which is no longer claiming that objective. He's got a hovering flyer here, but he's more than 3 inches away at the moment. We'll see if that changes in the next turn that he has, assuming such a thing happens. Over here, this guy got prescienced by one of these guys. I think, is that right?
Yep, that one.
Yeah, and so he was able to kill 10 of my cultists.
Didn't actually do anything. The storm bolter didn't hit, but I figured we'll take that gamble.
Right.
So we got one heavy flamer shot off.
The penultimate issue this turn was this flyer destroying the bastion. That was really my last chance to have something close to a victory, because I would have had 2 objectives. Now I only have just the one over there with the cultists, and of course this guys that have not moved and really have just been basically documenting the battle for posterity, but they're holding that objective Is Mr. Drop Pod over here on an objective?
No, there are no objectives in the middle of the lava. Go figure.
Okay, so they've got one, and I've got one, and this one is yet to be determined. His Space Marine HQ has this one. Not looking good for the Chaos Space Marines, but how would that be different than any other day? All right, so we will see you again at the end of my turn 5. Okay, Warpoint Wargamers, as we said before, as the game gets longer, the turns get shorter. These guys moved around a little bit to have some more bodies, layers of bodies on this objective here. This guy's got 2 flamers though, so yeah, it's not looking too good. Yeah, I actually might get tabled, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see how it ends up. And we'll see you at the, well, okay, let's do it on camera. Let's see if the game continues. Would you like to roll to see if the game continues?
I will roll, but I will roll with one of your dice. It's
okay, here we go. We need a 3, up. And that's a 4. So we'll see you at the end of player 1, turn 6.
Turn 6 was most preferred.
Here we go. Player 1, turn 6, guys. There's my cultists. That guy, and that guy all poured immense amounts of fire into the cultist blob.
To be fair, it was mostly heavy flamers.
Mostly heavy flamers, yes. So they broke and ran back. So basically, if I can't rally them on my turn 6 and move them up to claim this objective, then it will be a complete loss for the Chaos Space Marines. At this point of pride, I'm really hoping that I can just manage to avoid being tabled by 2 models. So we will see what happens on my turn 6. Alright guys, I did not rally. And when I failed to rally over here, I fell back enough to go off the board, which qualifies as them being dead. So I have been tabled by Inquisition and Space Marines.
Yep.
And so that is a victory for my opponent. Let's do the epic handshake with the left hand. Thank you very much, sir, for an excellent game.
It was a good game.
I'm very impressed by your list. And I demur. I was soundly defeated.
I admit it was a daring list, and there were a lot of points in the game that it could have honestly gone either way. My infantry flank collapsed when your cultists came on. I actually was very fortunate in my right flank chasing your cultists off. If things had gone a little differently, if I'd done some fewer wounds, it really could have gone either way. It turned in my favor early on, but it was close.
Well, thank you very much again for an excellent game, and maybe we can get another game in before the week ends. If not,
I would like that.
You know, maybe you can get your other army here, and we can throw down with some. You got sisters too, right?
No, I've got Dark Angels.
Dark Angels.
I've got Grey Knights, but we don't really talk about those much.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll get another game in before the weekends. And again, thank you very much for the entertainment, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys the next time. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.